Hey everybody, welcome back to Royal Tarot Readings. This is my fun channel that I do for tarot readings on the royal family. All information presented in this video is for fun and entertainment purposes only. It's fun. It's tarot. I'm just a gal with cards. Excuse me. Alright, so today, what I'd like to talk about is His Majesty King Charles is going to be going to Italy. I believe his trip is April 7th through 11th. Which is rather interesting because for those of you familiar with astrology, let me adjust my camera here. There we go. Mercury is still retrograde. Mercury will go dormant on April 7th. Now, what that means is Mercury, the planet, of course, orbits the sun, just like all the planets do. And because Mercury is so small and its orbit is not in the same speed, I guess I would say, as Earth's, because of its position, it's so close to the sun, it actually moves faster. At some times, the Earth it looks like Mercury is traveling backwards in the sky just because we are catching up to it and it's catching up to us. So it's the way that it appears to us on Earth. Mercury, of course, does not actually go backwards. It just appears that way from humans on Earth, from our perspective. So that does affect communication and travel. Misunderstandings and delays are very common when Mercury is retrograde. That's why it's always good not to start something new during Mercury retrograde. It's good not to travel during that time, at least if you can help it. Now, Mercury goes dormant on April 7th, which is the day that King Charles is going to Italy. Because Mercury is so sluggish from our point of view, the day that it goes dormant, it can cause delays in travel. It can cause misunderstandings in communication. I wouldn't be surprised if this is delayed in some way or if there's some kind of miscommunication in his activities, the king's activities, or they may already have started to pare back his activities because remember, the king was hospitalized on March 27th. Again, that was also during Mercury retrograde. I believe because of that, he will be hospitalized again. Because usually when you do something or something happens to you during Mercury retrograde, it will tend to happen again when Mercury returns to that point where it was going backwards. So say that, and this is probably getting way into the weeds in astrology, but I'll just leave it at that when Mercury returns to that point where something happened to you, it will probably happen again. So we'll see if the king is hospitalized. I'll research that and see what degree and sun sign Mercury retrograde was in at that point on March 27th, and we'll see if, when that goes back to that degree, if the king is hospitalized again. It could be. All right, so what we have here is, all right, so King Charles is going to visit Italy April 7th to 11th. Well, Harry's appeal case is on April 8th and 9th. So the king will not be in the UK. If Harry does go to that appeal, I'm not sure if he's required to, but if he is in the UK, he will not be able to see his father because his father will be in Italy. The king and queen's anniversary is April 9th. So they're going to celebrate their anniversary in Italy, which is kind of romantic. They'll be married 20 years. I happen to know that because my husband and I were married in the same year in 2005, and we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. So they will celebrating their 20th anniversary in Italy. I know he's not going to see the Pope because the Pope has been ill, and I believe a lot of his activities were canceled, his meet and greets, that sort of thing. So let's take a look at this. Is it a coincidence that the king has scheduled his trip to Italy at the same time that Harry could possibly be in the UK for his appeals case? And because the king won't be there, you know, a lot of people are speculating that King Charles will interfere in it. He can't do that. It will be a constitutional crisis if he does that. It's his own court. He cannot influence judges or cases in his own court. It's not within his powers to do that, or it should not be. And if he does do that, it will be a huge issue. All right, so let's take a look at this. For this reading, I'm going to use the Dragon Tarot. I chose this tarot deck because it is made in Italy. And I thought that was kind of interesting that this particular deck is made in Italy, and that's the one I'm going to use for this. All right, so this deck is designed by Peter, I believe it's pronounced Prakowiak. Sorry. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I said that. Prakonik. I think it's Prakonik. And it's a lovely deck. So let's see what we can find out from the Dragon Tarot on King Charles' trip to Italy. All right, let's take a look here. Hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for all of your wishes and good thoughts and prayers. Someone lit a candle for me last night, and I really, really want to express my appreciation. I could really feel the energy. I feel so much better today. I have so much more energy, and I know it's because you guys have been sending me lots of good healing energy, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see. For King Charles's trip to Italy, what is the trip scheduled over April 7th to 11th? Why is that scheduled on that particular time frame? Just I want to see what the tarot wants to tell us about that. And is the king trying to avoid Prince Harry? Is he trying to avoid Prince Harry? What does Prince Harry think of the king's upcoming trip to Italy? What does he think about it? You know, I'm sure he knows by now his father's not going to be in the UK. I don't know if Prince Harry's going to be in the UK, but what does he think about it? Oops. My goodness, these cards are flying. I think they're already ready. Ooh, Death in reverse. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, look at that. Look at that Death card. Wow. So that's a permanent ending. And the Star in reverse, no hope. No hope, no healing, no faith. Wow. Sometimes that's my Diana card as well. All right. What will happen during King Charles' trip to Italy? What's going to happen while he's there from the king's point of view for what might happen with the king? And then what's going to happen to King Charles' health during the trip? He's doing some pared back activities right now to rest for this trip. So what's going to happen to King Charles' health during this trip? Is Prince Harry going to make a statement during that time period? Is he going to make some kind of a statement? Either about his father or whatever. And that leads to my next question is, will Prince Harry wish the king and queen a happy anniversary? Wow, these cards are absolutely ready. The Magician, that's about spin. Eight of Cups, which is about, wanting to walk away and you can't. Oh, okay. So is Harry going to wish the king and queen a happy anniversary on April 9th? Would that be so interesting? All right, we're just going to do one more shuffle here because these cards are absolutely ready. Okay. Let's see what the cards want to tell us. Okay. Okay. 7 questions. Let's do 7 cards. All right, underlying energy is, oh my gosh, the Emperor in reverse. Well, there's the king right there. He's not going to be feeling well. And this one is, what is, the Hanged Dragon. Oh my gosh, which is the Hanged Man in reverse. 4 of Swords in reverse. Oh my gosh. That's the sickbed. Okay, so the Emperor in reverse. The king is the Emperor. He's not going to be feeling very well. He's going to be feeling, not bullied, but a drag put on him. He's going to be feeling a bit down. His health is still a bit down. He's not going to be as energetic as he usually is. He's going to be grumpy. And then the Hanged Dragon in reverse, which is the Hanged Man in reverse. Isn't that interesting? The Hanged Man upright is about being stuck. You're just dangling there. You have no idea, how in the world did I get in this situation? How am I going to get out of it? You almost don't know you're in the situation. You just know you're stuck. And in reverse, it's, you know, have had an epiphany and you see what it is you have to do to get out of the situation, but whether you do it or not is up to you. 4 Swords in reverse is, 4 Swords upright is the sick bed. This is you have withdrawn now, trying to recharge your batteries because you are feeling very poorly. And you're trying to regenerate your soul. And in reverse, it's you get off the sick bed in one of 2 ways. Either you recover and you move on, or you expire. It can be viewed as a death card in tarot. Okay, so I'm not saying the king's going to die in Italy, okay? But he's not going to be feeling very well. And whether he may do too much and reactivate stresses, and he may sap his strength by going on this trip. Goodness, okay. All right, so first question, why is King Charles's Italy trip scheduled over April 7th to 11th? King of Coins in reverse. Interesting. It's King of Pentacles in reverse. I'm looking at the iconography on this. That's very interesting. King of Coins in reverse. Okay, so King of Pentacles upright is very prosperous, very wealthy, successful man, lots of money. And in reverse, it's someone who has lost his wealth or who is feeling not as successful as he usually does. Why is that scheduled over April 7th to 11th? I think he feels like this is not under his control. He needs to do this almost to protect himself against what could be said if he's there in the UK during Harry's trial. It's almost like I'm removing myself from the situation. How interesting. So in this deck, reversals in this deck have a very particular meaning. There may be a mitigation over emphasis or a time delay over the particular card or cards in question. At the very least, there's kind of a question mark of the item being looked at. So that's kind of the energy I'm getting here. Like I will be questioned if I stay in the UK. I must be away from the UK during this time. I'm removing myself from a possible situation. And because of it, he's overtaxing himself. He knows what he has to do to get out of the situation that he's in the UK. And it was an epiphany for him to say, I just won't be here in the UK when that trial's going on. And he may overtax his strength. It may be a bit too much for him. He may come back and have to, again, rest or take a little hiatus after this trip. Interesting. Okay. Is the king trying to avoid Prince Harry? Is that what's going on with this trip? Oh, the Ace of Swords in reverse. Well, there's a no. It's also a lie, too. Aces in reverse are always no to yes or no questions. Ace of Swords upright is about telling the truth. You are standing up for yourself and your principles. You're going to tell the truth no matter what, the brutal truth. And in reverse, it's a lie. It's also a no. So he's not trying to avoid Harry, but he is trying to avoid probably the situation of the court case. Because he's not trying to avoid Harry, but he's trying to... his trip is not what it seems to be. It's not because... It's just not what it seems to be. There's some kind of lie involved with his trip over there. A little bit of hiding, subterfuge. I'm doing this not because of the reason I've stated. And again, it's gonna overtax his strength, even though he knows he had to do this. But it's not to avoid Harry. Harry may not even be there. It may be to avoid any connection with that trial. Allegedly. Okay, so what does Prince Harry think of the king's upcoming trip to Italy? What does he think about it? Oh, the Hermit in reverse. Well, this is Harry right here. He's not happy about it. This is Harry in his shadow aspect. Upright, the Hermit is about you've kind of withdrawn a little bit, and you're kind of giving yourself a big think. It's soul searching. And in reverse, you're ready to return. But since this card does represent Harry, it's his archetype because it's the Virgo card. In reverse, it's him being down, him being a bit angry, his nose put out of joint is how I'm going to put it. So what does he think about that trip? It's like, oh, thanks, you chose not to be there because my court case is going to be going on. He sees it as a snub for him, even though it's really trying to avoid the court case, I think. So Harry sees it as a snub against him. Okay. Because one more thing, because Harry's like coming out of his shell, he could be there. He could be there at the trial or the hearing, not a trial, but the hearing. And he's like, there's a possibility I could be there, Dad. So you're running away from me. Wow. Instead of seeing he's probably running away from the association with the trial or the hearing, not the association with Harry. At least that's how King Charles feels. King Charles feels like I'm just trying to avoid the hearing. Harry thinks you're trying to avoid me. Okay. What's going to happen to the king during his trip to Italy? What's going to happen there? 3 of Cups in reverse. 3 of Cups upright is about you're celebrating with friends, happiness, friendship, gaiety. And in reverse, sadness, feeling alone, like you don't have any friends around you. You just feel like, gosh, I'm all here by myself. Although Queen Camilla should be with him. He's going to feel somehow alone and away from his friends, away from his support system. He also maybe feels like, what's going to happen? He's going to feel like I didn't get to meet up with friends I wanted to. Like, he really did want to meet the Pope. I don't know if they're friends, but he feels like I'm not meeting with the people I wanted to. This is a reunion upright, it's a reunion with friends, and in reverse, it's a separation from friends. So he's not going to be doing all the things that he wants to do, and he's going to feel that. So the biggest thing that may occur out of this trip is just the fact that he's not visiting with the people he wanted to. He may see people he wants to see, but the real friends that he has there, he's not going to be able to visit. Okay, what will happen to the king's health during the trip? What's going to happen there? 4 of Pentacles in reverse, out of control. 4 coins. So 4 coins upright is that you're in control. You have you're juggling. You're clinging very tightly to your money, and you have control of things. And in reverse, you feel out of control. So, what's going to happen to his health during the trip? It's going to be out of his control. He will be doing things that he's not probably ready to do. And he is going to tax his strength. And we will be told a lie about that. Oh, no, the king's just fine. But he really is going to find it very taxing. It will undermine his strength. If that had been upright, it would have been in direct contradiction to these other cards. But it is supporting the other cards I'm pulling. That it's going to be a little bit too much for him. All right. Will Prince Harry make a statement during this time period? Is he going to make a statement? 3 of Swords. Oh, God. Yeah, he sure is. And it's going to be one of betrayal. Heartbreak and betrayal. You've broken my heart that you are not there in the UK. I'm going to be there and you're gone. Thanks a lot. And then he's also going to, in fact, it's directly under the Harry card. He's very upset, very out of sorts. And he feels like it's a betrayal. And he will make a statement and say, I would have loved to have visited my dad while you're here, but you're not here. Thanks a lot. You left. I'm coming over here. I'm coming out of my shell. I want to come visit you. You know, yeah, I thought you were sick. Wow. How nasty. Wow. Okay. Is Harry going to wish King Charles and Queen Camilla a happy anniversary on April 9th? Is he going to do that? 4 of Cups, not interested. Nope. 4 of Cups is you are offered something and you're like, no thank you. Meh, not interested, go away. He is absolutely not going to, not even interested. Wow. Wow. Okay. You're a big meanie, you're a bully. I'm over here. I was going to try to reach out to you. I thought you were sick. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. You're a big meanie. It's a permanent ending. Wow. He's not interested at all. I'm wishing him a happy anniversary. Heavens. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's do a quick wrap up here. All right. For King Charles's trip to Italy. Why is King Charles' Italy trip scheduled over April 7th to 11th? He's trying to remove himself from a tricky situation. Trying to avoid a confrontation and not be around when things are going to happen with that hearing. Is the king trying to avoid Harry? He's not trying to avoid Harry. He's trying to avoid the hearing. And then, how does Harry feel about the upcoming trip? You're trying to avoid me. Harry doesn't see it for what it really is. He's taking it very personally. And then what's going to happen to King Charles's trip while he's in Italy? He's going to feel alone. He's not going to get to visit with the people he wanted to. He'll still see people that are, he wants to visit, but his friends over there, he's not going to get to visit them, and he's really upset about that. What will happen to King Charles's health during the trip? It's going to undermine him. It's out of control. It's going to be more than he expects. But we won't hear that. We'll hear like, oh, he's still fine. He just had a great time. Very hearty and healthy, but it's a lie. Is Prince Harry going to make a statement during this time period? He will, and it's going to be one of betrayal and heartbreak. You broke my heart. How could you do this to me? You're trying to avoid me, you big old meanie. And then will Harry wish the king and queen a happy anniversary? No, he's not even interested. He won't say anything. Either publicly or privately. Goodness. All right, there you go. Hope you found that interesting. I have another reading coming out today on something that came out Lady C's video today about Princess Diana. Holy frick. I'm going to read on that. If you didn't see her video, if you're not a member of her channel, you won't have, well, you might see it, but my goodness, she had an explosive revelation today about Princess Diana. So I'll read on that one next. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please like and share. If you're not a subscriber, well, please do subscribe. What you waiting for? You know you're always watching my channel. You might as well click that subscribe button. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss another reading. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you again soon on Royal Tarot Readings. Goodbye, everybody.